An 8th grade student from the Maple Street School in Manchester has earned a first place finish in the Hildene Lincoln Essay Competition held earlier this year. The essay competition calls upon students to reflect upon President Abraham Lincoln's legacy and values and is open to all 8th grade students from across Vermont. The contest is divided into 4 regional categories from different parts of the state, and Chris Alfano of Dorset won in the category from this area's region. He was the first place winner for his essay titled A Small State, a Shrinking Population. He joined 166 other 8th grade students from around Vermont who submitted essays. For the past 13 years, Hildene has offered the statewide Lincoln Essay Competition to 8th graders, which is based on the teachings of Abraham Lincoln and Hildene's mission of values into action. This year's essay prompt asked students to identify an issue facing Vermont they would like the state government to address. The 2020 topic was inspired by Lincoln's quote, "The legitimate object of government is to do for the people what needs to be done, but which they cannot, by individual effort, do at all or do well for themselves." The contest rewards first, second, and third place winners from the 4 regions, along with 4 honorable mentions from the pool of finalists. We had a chance to talk with Chris about his essay, along with his teacher, Connor Welch. His essay dealt with Act 250, the state's land use law adopted in 1970, which has had a large impact on how the state has developed since then, both economically and environmentally. The statute seeks to regulate what kinds of developments can happen and where, but has been controversial since its inception. An effort is underway in the state legislature currently to revise and update it, but the revision has been moving forward very slowly. Here is Chris's take.
When I think about what makes Vermont unique and what makes it so amazing, one of the things that comes to mind right away is the local businesses. I know a number of local businesses that I love, and I actually have a few friends that have parents who are business owners. And so when I saw the prompt for the Lincoln Essay Competition, I started to research. Right away, I knew something to do with local businesses was something that I wanted to talk about. And when I started to find statistics about Vermont's old and very small workforce, I was really bothered by that, and so I knew I definitely wanted to write about it.
If you were in a position to tell some of those legislators what they needed to do, what would be some of your ideas you'd be suggesting to them as to how it should be revised?
Yeah, like you said, a more streamlined process. I'm obviously not a business owner. I've not tried to get through Act 250 before, but from what I've heard, it's very difficult to obtain the land use permits that you need to be able to expand. And so I just think that they need to do something that makes it a much easier process for businesses.
Okay, well, I know there are a lot of people who will agree with you. Mr. Welch, over to you for a second here. Can you tell us a little bit about how the process of putting this essay together came about? At what point did you and Chris sort of team up on this, and how did it all happen?
Yeah, it's we've been in my 8th grade classroom. I have my students write for the Lincoln Essay Competition every year, and usually they choose some pretty provocative topics. But this one was really interesting to me because it was sort of focused in on issues related to the state of Vermont. And as I think, maybe Chris can agree, I think this is not something that a lot of 8th graders who are here in our schools are really thinking about all that often. So I was really happy that the Hildene competition sort of addressed that. Because I think it's good to kind of turn our attention to some more local issues rather than kind of the often disquieting national politics. And so I just started out by introducing a number of topics that the students could kind of sink their teeth into to start to do some research stuff. And, Chris has always been a really fantastic independent worker. I think he also has a really good sense about research and how to approach things or approach a topic from multiple perspectives. And so he really just kind of dived in. And I sort of act as just a signpost to say, hey, I think this is a good direction to go in. Hey, here's some resources that I know of. Here's some publications in the state of Vermont that you might be able to use. And he kind of just went with it all on his own.
Maybe some of the lawmakers who've been struggling to come up with a revision of Act 250 might find some inspiration in Chris's essay. It's available online at hildene.org or check out Hildene's Facebook page. For the GNAT TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.